Pocklington Trust. New tech, hands-on.
Hey Google, take a selfie.
Ready for selfie. 3. Cancel photo. Button. 2. Photo taken.
The dictionary says that a product is refined when it is improved because of many small changes. With the Google Pixel 7 lineup, Google feels closer to that reality than ever. With 7 generations of work coming together, and accessibility features finally starting to take a front seat. But we want to know, how helpful is this phone for people with a visual impairment? For Thomas Pocklington Trust, I'm Peter Hayton, and together, let's go hands-on with the Google Pixel 7 Pro. Compared to last year's Pixel 6 Pro, shown on the left-hand side of the screen, the power and volume buttons, located on the right-hand side of the phone, have been moved lower down, making them easier to reach. I've also noticed a significant improvement to the firmness of the motor used for vibrating the device, for alerts and giving haptic feedback on things like keyboard clicks, when compared to last year's Pixel 6 Pro. It's now more responsive when typing. This is great news, because there are not many Android phones on the market with haptics that come close to the excellent Taptic engine in the iPhone, and good haptics do generally improve the day-to-day experience for visually impaired people. We'd also be regress not to mention the improved display. While retaining the smooth 120Hz refresh rate of its predecessor, the Pixel 7 Pro adds a new peak brightness of 1500 nits. But what does that mean in the real world? If you have low vision and need to look closely at the screen of your phone, you'll notice the scrolling experience is much smoother than on other phones. If you're outdoors, the high brightness capabilities of the screen will keep color contrast clear and bold in brighter conditions, making it easier to use your phone in direct sunlight.
This is a quick test of the front-facing camera on the Pixel 7 Pro. Is the Pixel 7 Pro the only smartphone to feature these technologies? No. But it is good to see Google including them on a device running Android the way Google intended.
With a Pixel, you get the latest version of Android before anyone else. In fact, this phone comes with Android 13 right out of the box, and Google have promised software updates for 5 years from the device's initial release. This is great news for accessibility, because Android 13 hosts a new set of text-to-speech voice options.
This is an example of speech synthesis in English.
This is an example of speech synthesis in English.
This is an example of speech synthesis in English.
This is an example of speech synthesis in English.
Anyone running Android 13 can now access Google's newest WaveNet voices, with both TalkBack and the Select to Speak feature.
The voices sound much more natural to listen to for an extended period of time, sounding more natural than the voices they replaced. Also,
you can pick these new voices in either a British or an American accent.
Something else Android does very well is screen scaling. Modern Android devices offer 5 screen scaling options to pick from, usually consisting of free and enlarged sizes. This results in making the screen easier to see for low vision users, because everything is just larger, including apps that are not properly optimized for accessibility. This also has the side benefit of creating bigger touch targets for TalkBack users. By comparison, the iPhone has only a single zoomed or larger text option. If the Pixel line is famous for one thing, it's the camera, or more specifically, the camera's ability to take a photo with hardly any effort required. So, if you have a visual impairment, you'll possibly get better results from a Pixel camera, as you can just point and click. Add to that the Pixel's magic eraser feature to remove unwanted people and objects from the background of an image, all with a single screen reader friendly tap, and you'll start to get a pretty compelling package. But Google didn't stop there. Guided Frame is a new feature specifically designed for visually impaired people to take a perfectly framed selfie. As seen in the intro, It achieves this by providing audible guidance through talkback to help you position your face into the centre of this frame. Guided Frame also supports taking selfies with multiple people in the frame. Just be aware that it could be difficult to fit everyone into the front camera. Also new, Google have included a feature called Zoom Stabilization. This ensures that your image doesn't become too shaky when trying to zoom into a faraway subject.
Okay, so we're trying the back camera this time. If you'd like to see more of what we think about this camera for visually impaired people, let us know.
There's a couple of other tricks too. Google's Pixel launcher now offers more themed icons with the Google feed just one swipe away. There's also quick phrases for the Google Assistant, allowing you to do things like this.
Stop.
Finally, there's call screening, which lets you check who is calling before you speak to them.
Hi, the person you've reached is using a screening service from Google and will get a transcript of this call. Go ahead and say your name and why you're calling.
Hi, I'd like to tell you about some of our newest special offers, exclusive just for you.
The number you called wasn't available. Goodbye.
But it's not all good news. As great as those features are, there are a few downsides too. Guided Frame might be one of the most exciting features that we've seen in a long time, but it's limited. It's only compatible with the front camera for still photos, and if you do manage to get everyone in the frame, in a crowded environment, people in the background can confuse the phone. Around back, you can get some guidance for framing people with the better wider lenses, but it's not as detailed as Guided Frame. Also, bear in mind that if you want to photograph an object, the Pixel doesn't describe what's in shot, as you'll find on the iPhone. Given Google's AI prowess, I really hope Google addresses these shortcomings soon. Also, features like themed icons in the Pixel launcher feel a little half-baked, because the number of apps they support is still quite limited. Additionally, in the UK, we currently cannot take advantage of Google's excellent Hold for Me and Direct My Call features, which I'd love to see Google add support for. It's not all bad though. We've seen just how innovative the Pixel 7 Pro is, and at a starting price of £849 in the UK, it actively undercuts the price tag of competing phones by around £200. Add to that the software features that are exclusive to the Pixel, and you will find a device that is unique in this space. So I'd like to thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you found it useful. If you would like to see any more in-depth coverage of a specific feature of this phone, then please do let us know by dropping us a comment down below. We really appreciate it if you give the video a like and share it with others who you think might be interested. Until next time, I've been Peter Hayton for Thomas Pocklington Trust, and I'll see you in the next video.